Hi, I'm Jason with Commit. This is going to be a quick tutorial kind of working you through how to work on your website in your team suite. Um, it's going to just cover sort of a lot of the basics. There's a lot of information I'm going to go over, but it's all sort of just like a starting point for how to get things up and running on your website. All right, so the first thing we're going to do when you come into your dashboard here, you're going to have access to this whole dashboard here with all these different sections for you to kind of input information for your teams and calendars and rosters and things like that. We'll have other videos for those things for you to look at, but we're going to specifically really just look at the website stuff here, which you'll find right here. So you're going to click on this. This team has already started to be set up a little bit here, but I'm going to walk you through this process because when you come here originally, this will all be blank, right? So the first thing is you're going to want to upload your site logo, and you can choose if you want it to be, large or kind of just like more like a circle, sort of just like a little like profile icon, if you will. The way to upload your image is you're going to just click on this area. If there's no image here already, there's going to be just a blank area kind of saying like select your photo. So you're going to click this and it's going to open up a whole window here where you can either pull up your files from your desktop or folders or thumb drives or wherever you have them and drag them here, or you can just click here and it's going to open you up and allow you to navigate to what you're looking for. So we're going to go and take the Viking logo for this one, and you'll see it comes up here, and then it's going to upload, and then it would show up here. The same for the favicon here. The favicon, if you don't know what that is the little image when you're loading on a site. This little icon that pops up here, that's called the favicon. So some sites have that, some sites don't. It's up to you. If you don't want one, you don't need to put it on there. If you would like to, you can upload whatever image. You can either make something, you can use your image, your regular site logo, and it will just shrink it down to fit in there, but it won't always look very great. For us, we just had this temp favicon made, so we're going to upload that same process, right? And it's going to look very pixelated because it's a very small photo. And it's blowing it up very large here. But again, when it's that size, it's going to look okay. Now, just putting this in here, it's not going to show up here because you're still technically on a commit site. When your site goes live and it's accessible to the public, that's when you'll see that up here. So this is a good representation of kind of what it's going to look like, and realistically, it'll probably be a little bit smaller. Next option to look at is come over here, look at your brand color. This is where you're going to pick your team color that matches the best you can. We have a nice little selection here. We're going to just stick with this one since it matches kind of closely to some of the coloring in here. And then you can pick the type of font you want. We have a nice little selection of this as well. Pick whatever you feel like looks best to you or matches whatever your logo is or is very close, things like that. And you're going to pick the one you want, and then that will sort of be your default font that is on all your pages. Not to say that you can't update the fonts individually, but this will just sort of be your default. The next is you're going to have your little contact button information filled in here, right? So you can call this whatever you want. Contact us, reach out to us, we want to hear from you. I'm just going to leave it at contact us. And what this will do is just create that little button that's sort of always on your site that's just like, hey, contact us, reach out to us, that they click it, and it'll pull up the information. You can put in your team's email address or whoever in your club is going to be your contact person. Same with phone number. If there's a number for them to call, you can put it in there. You can also leave this information blank as well. And then you can put your information in for address. If someone's trying to contact you to be like, oh, I'm trying to figure out how to get to where the club is or whatever, they would click this and it would pull up all this information for them that would be here. You can put a description in to this if you want, just like a little message to them. And you can also select who is going to be that main contact name, right? And these are just our temp names in here. So I'm going to select this, and then you're going to see here your brand color, right? So for this is going to apply to all of your pages, but for every sort of template here that you put in, every sort of block is what we'll actually call them. Every block that you put into your page here, which is going to be a section of information on the pages, will have the option of a header to sort of like be the title of that block or section. And you'll see a little more what I'm talking about there. But this, you can choose if you want that header of the block to be your brand color that you chose, or you have an option of a dark gray or a light gray. And then you can choose if you want it left, justified, centered, or right. I'm going to do center just for now. And then lastly, this is going to be on here by default for you guys already. We have a privacy statement for you that is our generic privacy statement that sort of just covers what is, what falls under the responsibility of you as the club for privacy of your athletes and members and coaches and things like that, and then also sort of how that ties into what Commit does and into our privacy statement and some of our security policies. So it's already laid out there. It'll just automatically be on there. You are welcome to go in and update it to something more specific to you. You can pick and choose parts that are in there and use them for yourself. It's your site. You have the information on there that you want. We have provided you sort of that generic, and I say generic meaning it just sort of covers everything, and then it's up to you to update or not. You're welcome to use it exactly as is. So all this is said and done now. You've set up your initial, your theme, if you will, which is your primary stuff: logos, favicon, colors, fonts, contact information, and directing this to the right privacy statement. Which again, all of this will be done by default. The rest of this you're going to have to set up yourself. So now that you've set this up, we're going to move over to the pages, and I'm just going to cover quickly just a few of the main things, right, and just how to get you started. If you have more questions as you're going along, reach out. Please be more than happy to walk you through specifically what you need to do, our suggestions of how you can do stuff, some of the limitations that exist right now, and some of the plans for how we plan on improving things. So we're going to go into the pages now, right? And this is going to be, when you're on your page, I'm going to come back to the theme and just hit preview so you can see real quickly how it's starting to load. There's your logo, and this is kind of where it's always going to live on every page. Here is some of the pages that we're going to look at here in a second. And here's that contact button that when you pull up has all that information, right? They can fill in their information and send you a message that will automatically email you, or they can email separately because they'll have the email here. They can call, and they have address information. All that stuff will be here, and here's that message in the title. And this is what I was talking about, the color of the title, right? Versus if you wanted like a dark gray or a light gray. So we're going to get into some of the rest of this page stuff now, but this is just generally what it's going to look like. Again, you're not going to see that favicon because this is just a preview. This site has not gone live yet, and it's through our system. So it's just going to show the commit thing for now. So I'm going to close this and come back here. And now we're going to look at these pages. So looking at the pages, we are going to look. The home page is pretty much everything that you just saw on that theme page, right? So if you hit the preview here again, it's going to bring you right back to that preview we just saw, right? Because this is your home page. This is the top page that when people navigate to your site, it's the first thing that loads. And if they're bouncing around on different options here on your site and they click your logo, it comes back to the home page. So we're going to just look under the About, okay? So here's your privacy statement. This is, again, it's all sort of in here for you already, but you are welcome to pick and choose, change, update, whatever you want. If you do that, though, you are choosing to take control of sort of what information is made available or not. Since we have put in there what we need to have out there, it's your choice if you choose to change it or keep it. You're going to see under the About page, there's going to be like things like location and staff and program descriptions, practice schedule, safe sport, team records, external links, things like that. This is just our default. You are going to be able to pick and choose what you want to do and add what you want. I'm going to start by making just a new page that we're going to call this information, right? Okay, so we're just going to call that information. What you're going to also want to do when you do it is you're going to give a URL part of name. So like when it comes up for this, it would be, Vikings.com/information, right? and you can call this whatever you want. You can make it as unique or as generic as you want. It's just going to be the information of how the web page will load it. Now, if I want, I can either make this a main navigation, which means when I'm in the page and those different buttons are along the top, it's going to show up as its own option. That's what main navigation is. Invisible to main navigation means it's on your site and you can add information to it and link buttons to it, but you will not be able to see it on the page as a user. You'll be able to navigate to it through buttons, but there won't be like an option specifically to search. This is how things like the privacy statement are set up. Like if a user is on the site, they can't just, there's no button there for them to navigate along the header to the privacy statement, but they do have links and buttons at the bottom, similar to this, that will link it there. And then a menu header is where you saw like the about and the resources when we were on those pages parts here. Like these have drop-down menus because they're sort of, if I come back here, I'm going to show you what I mean. Like I'm going to make that information page its own menu header. Information. Okay, so we're looking here real fast. This is the preview. You see the about and has a drop-down menu, and resources has a drop-down menu. And now I've made the information a main navigation. I'm going to create this page. Now, and then I need to publish this page with it, right? Otherwise, if it's unpublished, it's going to assume that means the page is not ready to put onto your site yet. Now I'm going to come here. Now you're going to see information, but there's not a drop-down menu because I've made it its own button. In order to make it a drop-down menu, I would have to come to part of a drop-down list, and I can either choose which one I want it to be under. I can click it into About, and now I'm going to save this, and now it's gone here, and it's under About. Or same with Resources, right? So we come under the About page, right, and that's where the information is. And you can see the Unpublished and Published buttons here, right? So everything's published here, which means when you come to this, when you look at under About, you're going to see everything here, right? But let's, if this information, we haven't filled it out yet. I'm working on it. I'm not ready for it to go out to the public, but I still want it to be lumped under the About. So I'm going to unpublish it. And now when I come to About, you're not going to see information here, right? So on your site for working, it's still clumped under here. It's still under the About, but it's not published because it's not ready. Once I'm ready for it, I've added all my information, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to hit Publish, and now it's going to be there again, okay? So that's what publish and unpublish. And to unpublish an entire drop-down list, you won't be able to click this button. Everything, if you want the whole drop-down menu to be invisible, you actually have to unpublish everything within the menu. So for the About, all this stuff is here. I'm going to just unpublish everything under it. And now you're going to see that's going to change to unpublish. I'm going to come here, About is gone. But the moment you have one thing published, that About pops back up for just that one thing. So we're going to go back to information, under settings. Again, you can change it to whichever drop-down list you want. You can make it its own main navigation. But let's say you want to make a new drop-down list. The way you do that is you're going to select part of a drop-down list, and then you're going to make a new drop-down list using this little plus button here when you're selected as part of drop-down list. You're going to select this. You're going to call it, let's call this Club Information, right? Okay. Actually, I'm just going to call it Club. Keep it short. And then you're going to, you can either have that link to a different site. So let's say your club is part of a school, okay? And you want that button up there to just link to the school's webpage. You could, this could be school, right? And then you're going to do, whatever schoolname.edu, okay? And then you hit create, and that button up there, now when they click that, it's going to take them to a new website. Otherwise, just keep this off. We're going to call this club to create that new drop-down menu within our site that keeps us within your site. You're going to hit create, and now you're going to see that option here, right? And I'm going to save that, and now it's here, and it's automatically published because there's a published page in it. So I'm going to come here, club's there now with the drop-down menu. If you want to delete a drop-down menu, what you're going to want to do is make sure you're selected on the drop-down list, and you're actually going to delete the drop-down list, delete this menu. Yes. So now that's gone. You can either put it back in one of these or go back. I'm going to keep this just a main navigation for now, right? So it's going to be its own button. Club's gone. It's gone from your site. It's gone from here, and the information button is by itself. It's blank because we have nothing in it. So let's get into that real fast. What I'm going to show you here for adding things under the information page is going to apply to any page that you work on, okay? Any page you do work in, including your home page, which you'll see will have a lot of this stuff here. I'm going to just remake a lot of this under the information so you can see how to make it from scratch, and then the way you edit it is going to be the same no matter what page. So I'm going to come in here. To edit a page, you're going to hit this little pencil icon here. That's your edit button. You can also obviously remove your pages here. This, the privacy page, this is the icon if something is invisible to main navigation, okay? You can also change the order of these menus. Sometimes this will work here with these drop-down menus, sometimes not. If it's not working for you, let us know and we will work to get it corrected. So I'm going to come in here and start to edit. So the first thing is you're going to have an option. The default will be a rich text when you make a new page. It's just the first thing that comes on there, so you can write whatever you want. Welcome to our club, right? And I'm going to have it be the brand color. I'm going to center it, and I'm going to just say, welcome to Viking Swimming Club, okay? Now, the first thing you can do is you can either copy things from page to page if you want. You can click this, it'll duplicate it, copy the block in this page, meaning it'll make two of them. I'm going to delete that duplicate. Or you have the nice option, if you have like a whole thing set up here that you really like and it's just perfect the way it looks and you want to put it on some of your other pages, like maybe you want to put this under your About page, you can duplicate it to another page and pick that page that you want. The About is a drop-down menu, so it's not an option here, but you could pick whatever is under the About, like the location. What you can do is you can hit preview real fast, and this is going to show you just a quick snapshot of what it kind of looks like, right? So you see what this looks like? It looks really nice, right? You do have the option for a gray background color behind this, which once we get a few in here, I'll show you what it looks like. You won't be able to see the gray background in this preview layout. The way you'll be able to see that is, so I've done all this. Even though commit will save your changes automatically sometimes, you also sometimes will see that save button. Anytime you see that, I would recommend hitting save just so you don't risk losing anything. The way you want to see, if you want to see what the gray background looks like on it, you can do that, hit save, and then hit preview. And it's going to show you just a preview of that specific page you're on. So you kind of see this light gray background behind it here. That's what that does. And it's nice once you have a couple of blocks in because it will give you a nice sort of separation for things. Okay, so we have our first thing in here, but now I want to do insert button. And the button can be used two ways. One, you can call the button what you want, button. I'm going to turn it on, right, so it's actually there. You can choose if you want it to be on the left, center, or right of the block. And then you can either have it navigate to one of the pages on your site, or you can have it navigate to an external site, which again could be like, oh, school site, okay? And then you go again to schoolname.edu, and you do that, and that's how it's going to be on there. I'm going to save this. Now I'm going to preview the site, and you're going to see what it looks like real fast. There it is. There's your button. You would click this button, it would take you to a site. There's nothing for it to actually go to because that's not a real site right now. But we're going to close that. I'm going to turn off the button because I actually don't want the button here. Now I want to do insert block, and you're going to have a couple different things. So you can do a hero shot. So let's do quick. What I'll do here is I'll do this hero shot so you can see. I'm going to use our logo just as the hero shot in the background. You can have the title here, which will be Vikings, and then swimming is our life. You know, that button, which will navigate you to locations, right? And then we're going to do locations. And then we're going to save, and I'm going to preview that for you here. So now you can see what that kind of looks like. This. You will need to be mindful of your colors and the images, and there's a little bit I'm going to show you how to play with that here, and that's using just sort of like the image overlay. It'll show you a little bit here. You can change the text color sort of anywhere from white to black or in between. You can make the background image either completely opaque or zero opaque, but you know, you can blend it together there. Then you can use the preview button here to get a sense of how it's playing. That looks a little bit better, a little easier to read. So I'm going to save that and then come back to that preview site and you'll see it updates there, right? So that's what the hero image is. The background image, I'm going to add a background image. And I'm just going to choose this. I'm going to add this. And I'm going to put the gray background on just to kid it a little bit. I'm going to save that. And a lot of times whenever you do a new block, I recommend just previewing as much as you can so you can get a sense of it. So this is just sort of like a nice image to just break up the background. So that's what the background image does. It just allows you to sort of like add something to break up areas. The next is going to be testimonials. And this is if you have stuff from people that are just like, oh, like what great people are saying about us. And I'm going to put here what people are saying about us. And this club is great is the testimonial, right? And we're going to say that came from just me. I'm going to add my avatar. If there's an image of them, if they have an image, if it's coming from like a publication, you want to use a logo. You can also leave it blank. It's up to you. And I'm going to save that, and now I'm going to preview that, and we're going to see what that looks like here. There, and if you have multiple, you just add another testimonial. Best place to swim. And I'm going to have no avatar for that, okay? And then I'm going to have another one, which is love the coaches. And I'm going to save. And now you're going to see them start to line up down here, okay? And again, you can add either no avatar, or you can add an avatar. I'll just add myself again just to sort of show you. And this is how it's going to lay it out for you. You can also have it be where it's a slider, which will actually look more like this. And it's going to be, testimonial 1. It'll automatically cycle through them for you here after so long. See, best place to swim. Or people can sit here and push through themselves. You can see the title right now is Left Justified because that's where it is. If I center it and save, it's going to center it. So that's testimonials. Partners, this is where you can add images with links to sites. And what I mean by that is like, let's say these are our sponsors or partners or whatever. Make the title. I'm going to right justify this just for fun. I'm going to make it dark gray as well. And then you're going to hit the edit button. This is where you're going to start to add a new partner. So this is going to be, we're just going to say commit. You can add their logo. I'm just going to use the Viking logo for now. This would really be the commit logo. I'm going to add this, and then I'm going to have this go to commitswimming.com, right? I'm going to create, and now that's there, and then I can come back to the block and see it. That's what it's going to look like. I'm going to save, and I'm going to preview once more to show you what this one now does. So you come here, and you scroll down. There's your sponsor. So there's the dark gray. It's right justified. And now these buttons for the icons are they become buttons that are clickable. So I'm going to click that, and it's going to navigate me to Commit Swimming. This could be, again, to USA Swimming. This could be to a team store. This could be to local sponsors in your town. This could be, as long as there's a button here, an image that you can add as a button, you can link it to a site. Looking at the others, those are partners, badges. This is where you can do, it's a very similar thing. You could do things like, this could be where you add logos and stuff to social media sites, right? So this could be social media. Coach bios, this is where you're going to add our staff. And you go to edit this, and it's sort of the same thing. Now, this already had two coaches sort of set up a little bit. So you can either add a new coach, which is going to be, their name, Tina and Turner. You can put their email address in if they have it. You don't have to. You can put their title in. You don't have to. This could be assistant coach. And then you can choose their permissions on the site. If they have access to billing stuff, if they have access to be able to work on the website, or just in general, which would be the default for anyone that is just like a regular assistant coach. Then you're going to save and continue, and it's going to add them. From here, you can then click on this under Actions to edit and give them a bio. You want to display them on site. If they're not displayed on site, they will have access to the site. If you add their email, it sets up their account. but they won't be displayed on the site. If you want to display them on the site, this is where you do it. You give them a quick bio, as long or short as you want. I'm just going to put world's greatest coach for me. And then same thing, just like with the testimonials, you can add a picture. You upload that, it's going to put it there. I'm going to come back to the blocks, and we're going to see me there. And now I'm going to save this and also preview this block. So if I scroll all the way down, there's me. That's the world's greatest coach. And then you can add multiple ones, and it will list them one right under the other, okay? That is the coach bios. And then the rest of this stuff is obviously going to be pretty self-explanatory. You can add live programs, which is where people will be able to register for some of the meets and things that you are setting up on your site. You can insert another contact us form if you want it directly on the page and not just that button up there. You have FAQs. You can put frequently asked questions here. Same thing, you just click this, you're going to add a new question. Add the question, add the answer. This is, how do I sign up? Click on our register button. Great, done. Come back to the block. It's going to be in there. And then save, preview that as well. We're going to come down here, and you're going to start to see all your questions listed down here, okay? If you do not fill in a header here, it will automatically put in what the name of the block is. So for like live programs, come back here, you're going to see our programs. The default is our programs. You can see everything from what is already kind of set up elsewhere on your account. You can also add a table. This is great if you want to add, like updates on times or any reason you want to do a table. This is where you can do it. You can also do locations. You can add multiple locations, as many if your club has a couple of different places. You can put the address of it, which will bring it up on a map for them. Or you can choose to show the map or not. You can give a name to the location, description. Say location 1 is, your main spot. And the description could be for your varsity swimming. And then location 2 could be for, age groups. And location 3 could be your backup location. Things like that. And you can add an image if you have an image of the location or images from the location. Or you can leave it blank. It's up to you. Your image gallery. This is a great place if you want to just have like a nice little slideshow of stuff. Vikings. So I'm going to center that. I'm going to gray this out. Just why not? I'm going to add images. You can add up to 10 in an album at a time. You have to come through and add them one at a time, though. We're working on eventually fixing that so you can select multiple. Right now, you just have to do it one at a time. As long as you know where all your pictures are. Obviously, before you start creating your site, I recommend highly that you have sort of a lot of this type of information pulled together or easy to access so you're not having to bounce around. I'm going to make all that, and then I'm going to save that, and now I want to preview that. And we're going to scroll down. We're going to be seeing all these different blocks of stuff right now from everything we've been adding. There's the locations. And then here's our images. Right now, it's set up as an album, which means it's going to be here, and you can click on it, and they can scroll through it this way, or it makes it larger, or you can make it a slider. You can save that, and what that's going to do here is it's going to set it up similar to how those testimonials were, right? It'll be here, and it's going to automatically cycle through them for you on their own, or they will have the option to scroll through on their own. It will cycle through on its own. I forget the exact pacing of the cycle, but it will do that for you. If you edit sequence, you can move them around, and if you want to change the order of things, just make sure you uncheck that and then save. The last couple of blocks, you can add file downloads. You can also do up to 10 files. This is where if you have like PDFs or you have forms that you need them to download. If you have more than 10, you're just going to have to create a second block. They'll just be one right out under the other. Custom HTML. This is a great place if you want to add videos. If you have like a YouTube video that you're wanting to link in or something like that, what we'll do is let's go to commit real fast, okay? And we're going to go to the support site, and we're going to go to workouts, and we're going to go to writing best workouts, right? So if you have a YouTube video that you need to embed, what you can do is you can right-click on it, and there's a copy embed code. You're going to bring that back to your site, and you're just going to copy that right in here. And then you're going to save that. Sometimes you might get this error. That's okay. Just come to the preview this, and then you scroll down, and you're going to see that it's embedded here in your site now. And people can play it just right from your site if they want. There's other ways. Anything that has an embed code, this is how you would use it. Okay, so if you have any sort of feeds that you want to try to embed, you can do that here as well. You're going to have your team calendar, which you can put in here, which will show you all your stuff. You can choose what you do and don't want to show on each individual page. So like for this page, let's say just for the event, the information, you just want to see events. Actually, let's say you want to actually just do the meet registrations, okay? So you save that, but then on another page, you're going to want just the practice schedule, which right now has nothing on here, but so events, done, saved on the other page. And then so on that page, you'll just see the events, and on this page, you would just see all the registration information. And then last but not least, it's just a divider. Even though you can use the gray back and forth to make a divider, if I come up here, I'm going to show you at the top, you can use that divider, which will add just a line here. You can drag, if you want it to be 100% of the width, which I'll show you in the preview. This is what that divider looks like. It's 100%. So just a very light gray line that helps break things up. If you want it to be 50%, you're going to hit save. And you're going to see now that line is just this. It's very subtle, but it does help break things up sometimes when you need to. And so that is what every single one of these does, okay? The one thing that would be nice, let's say you have your testimonials and you also want your partners to be side by side. You can make these half width, okay? And what that's going to look like when I make both of these half width, they're going to be next to each other. And then you can also, not just also centering the title, you can top, center, or bottom justify it so things are a little even. I'm going to just center this up just so it looks a little nicer. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to come here. And now you're going to see both the testimonials and the sponsors are next to each other. This is over here because I have that right justified. I would probably want to center or left justify this to make it look a little cleaner. And so that is really how you lay out all of this information. This is how you work within your sites. All of these blocks are available in every single other page that is here. Any of these, you come in here, some of these already have the default things laid in there for you. If you come to locations, it's already has this here with just template default information that you can update. The block is already in here for you. So if you want to add to it, you're welcome to, or you can just update what is there. Same with the staff. I know we added the coaching in there, but if you come here, you're going to see it here. This is all that information. Again, the privacy statement, it's all here. This is how you do it. When all is said and done, what you would do is you're actually going to then come up here and you would make it live. I'm not going to do that here because there's actually a slightly separate process that we're going to send. We're going to make another video showing you how to do that. So you're going to look for that video of how to make your site live. I know this was a lot of information, and this was not very condensed for you. I just wanted to cover each one of the type of blocks you can add and how you set up your pages. As you get into it, I know 100% you're going to have questions. You're going to probably run into a few issues or get a little confused about how you want to do something. Reach out to us. We are happy to help. And that is how you set up your website. So check out some of our other videos for how to make your website live, how to work in some of the other sections here under your dashboard.